rotate on Facebook Live today, which is super unfortunate. Hello everybody. I was just having some technical difficulties with my phone, so I'm doing an upright shot today. For some reason Facebook did not like my other angle on my phone. Anyway, I hope everyone's doing well. It wasn't very sunny today here where I am, but hopefully you guys had a bit of sun where you are. I see my cousin Dana saying hello. How's it going? And I see my Aunt Trudy. I love having all my family and friends join in, so that's really cool. Today I'm really excited because I'm making dessert. I think all my posts said like cook dinner with me, but it's going to be dessert. So sometimes these days you just have to have dessert for dinner. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and I'll remind everybody that's watching, and if you're watching it later, I'm going to upload everything to my YouTube channel after the Facebook Live, so you can watch it again. And definitely go there and subscribe to my channel and like all my videos. So today we're going to be making, I got this inspiration from a recipe from Lauren Toyota, and she does a blog called Hot for Food. It's all vegan food, and she usually has really easy recipes, so that's another one for you guys to put on your list to check out. Hot for Food by Lauren Toyota, and I think she's on all social media. She does videos, she does Instagram and Facebook, so you can find her anywhere. Lauren Toyota. I'm just taking off my shoes because they're getting uncomfortable. So the recipe that this is inspired from, she did a dark chocolate salted caramel Danish, which sounds fancy because it is, but when I make it, it's not that fancy. So the recipe that I'm using is going to be a little bit tweaked from her. She did a lot of stuff from scratch, and she used dark chocolate, so mine's going to be a bit different. So the first thing we need is puff pastry, and you don't have to make it from scratch. You can get it at the store. If you have time to make puff pastry from scratch, go ahead and do it. So this is the brand that I get. It's called Bake It, and I got this from No Frills, and it was fairly cheap. And it's all vegan, so it's just got oil in it. There's no butter. So I wrote down a list, actually. It's Tender Flake and Pepperidge Farm also have vegan puff pastry, so it's just always been vegan. And then you can get Bake It as well. So that's the first ingredient that you'll need. And what we're doing to make it chocolatey is we're going to layer some chocolate in between the puff pastry. So in Lauren Toyota's recipe, she got dark chocolate chunks, which you can probably get at Bulk Barn. So if you want that dark chocolate flavor, you can definitely do that. But I didn't have dark chocolate, so I'm just using chocolate chips. So these are PC Decadent semi-sweet chocolate chips, and they are also vegan. So in these chocolate chips, we've got unsweetened chocolate, sugar, cocoa butter, soy lecithin, and vanilla extract, so that's all vegan stuff. And most semi-sweet chocolate chips that you can see in the grocery store are also accidentally vegan. Just check the ingredients, obviously, if it's milk chocolate. There's some semi-sweet brands that put milk in it for some reason, I don't know why. But otherwise, the PC ones are also vegan. I see a bunch of people saying hi. Saying hi to Moira. Trudy's saying, turn the packages around. Here's the package. So that's the two main ingredients that we're going to need. So to do this, I'm going to tilt my camera down so you guys can see. Alright. So with our chocolate chips, we got to cut them open. And again, I'm really horrible at measuring stuff. But I'm going to say it's probably, I'm going to put about that much in. I'm going to say that's probably 1/3 of a cup in my little bullet blender. And I did some testing, and I tried to do it in a little food processor, and because the chocolate chips are so small, it didn't quite work. So if you have a bullet blender, that's probably the best way to do this. And I'll stop to say hi to Joyce and Kelly. Nice to see you guys. So what you want to do, this is going to be really loud, but what you want to do is blend these down, or whatever chocolate you have down, into, not into a powder, but into like crumbles. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. It'll be a bit loud. That was very loud. So what you're going to get is something that looks like that. And you can go a little bit finer, you can go a little bit thicker, but the finer the better, because you're going to roll this into the dough. So actually I'm going to inundate you guys with more loud noise just for 1 second. So there was too many chunks. So now we've got, ooh, we got a mess. So now we've got a little bit more of a finer powder. And then what we want to do, I believe you could probably, if you don't have the rest of the ingredients, you could probably sprinkle this on the dough and it would be just fine. But what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of vegan margarine. So Becel has my favorite vegan margarine. It's pretty much, I think, the same price as all the rest. And there's another brand called Crystal, which you can get at some Costco's, and they have them in giant Tupperware containers, and then you can keep the Tupperware container after. So I would either go with Becel or the Crystal margarine from Costco. And for this, you're going to want like maybe a tablespoon. This part is just for flavor and to help the chocolate melt down. So it's not super important. So we're going to blend that up, but by experience I know that this amount of margarine is not going to create the paste that I want. So I'm going to put a splash of cashew milk in. Just a little bit to get us started. And we might need to add more. So what we're looking for with this chocolate crumble that we're going to roll in the pastry is just like a paste almost. So it's kind of sticking there. It might take you a while to get it really nice and pasty. That's not a very good word, pasty, but that's what we're looking for. But I think I've got it pasty enough. So this is the kind of texture you're looking for. And if it's got chunks in it, it's fine. This is all gonna melt down like chocolate does in the oven, and it'll look fantastic after. Okay. So we've got our chocolate, and we have our surface that has chocolate on it. And now we're going to roll it. And one of the big things to remember when you're making this is it's going to look super messy. It's going to look like garbage. But when you wrap it all up and you bake it, it's going to look super fancy. So don't worry if you're making a super huge mess, if it's crooked or whatever. Once you bake it, it'll look really cool. So this puff pastry comes out already kind of flat. Some puff pastries you can buy come as a dough and you have to really roll it out, but this is already halfway there. So you just pop that out. And it comes on wax paper, which is really great for rolling, but you can't bake with wax paper. It'll smoke and it will be gross. Okay. Let's see. So we have this piece of puff pastry like this. Okay. And what we're going to do, and again, this part, like I said, this is a messy recipe. It's super easy and it's so delicious, but it is quite messy. So what you're going to do is push this. I hope you guys can see there, yeah. Push this all the way around your dough. And just get it as even as possible. We're going to roll this out and we're going to bake it, and it's going to be all sort of tied up in a cute knot, so you don't have to worry too much about it. The other thing that you can do if you want to save time is if you got a really good vegan Nutella, you could also spread that on here. You could put peanut butter in here and have like a chocolate peanut butter sort of flavor would be really good. So I think we got that as much as possible. And another thing I'll tell you, because I learned from experience when I was making these, and from Lauren Toyota's recipe, is leave some blank dough around the edge, so that doesn't leak out and push out. Every time I've done it, it already leaks out anyway, but just, you'll give yourself a bit of a break. And then what we're going to do is not fold it all the way in thirds, but sort of fold it in so that the edges overlap a little bit in the middle. So we got that there, like that. So we just want to do it a tiny bit. So we have to roll this back out. So now you have your little pocket, and we're going to roll this all the way out. So we're trying to go this way more than up and down, so it's better to focus on making this wider. But you can already see that my dough is getting really messy with this chocolate. And this dough is pretty forgiving in terms of rolling it. You don't need a lot of flour, but make sure you have flour handy in case it gets stuck. So try to keep the edge square. You can fold some back and make it square. It's going to help you like cut everything after. So there we go. So roll it out as much as you can, and we'll try to keep it square. Okay, so we're looking good there. So now you're going to turn it back lengthwise towards you, and you can see we have pretty much of a square here. So it'll feel like we're cutting this really thin, but we have to cut this into 4 strips. So you can get a ruler out or just go for it. So I'm going to call that the middle. And I'm going to call that the quarter there. So now we have 4 strips. So each strip is going to become one of our danishes. So what we want to do to make it really fancy is we're going to braid them. So you're going to take each slice and cut 3 strips. So you're going to cut twice to get 3 strips, but you're not going to cut all the way at the end. So you're going to leave a little bit. So if you put your finger there, and you cut down. It really helps if you have a really nice sharp knife. So there we go. So I can't really move these, but you guys can see that I have 3 strips. So just pick out your strip. So now we've got our 3 strips. So this is the fun part that always feels awkward. So you're going to braid these, which I always kind of mess this up and I end up reverse braiding it. But remember when I said it doesn't really matter what it looks like? We're going to go under. Oh, here we go. Under. 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 Keep going under until you get a braid. It might get stretchy. One piece might be bigger than the other. It doesn't matter. So now you've got your braid. So what you're going to do, you can pick it up if the dough is stiff enough and you wrap it around, but I'm just going to curl it. So just take a piece and start curling it like that. You can twist it and then tuck one of the ends. So that ended up looking super fancy. And it looked like a mess before that. So remember what I said, just be patient. It's going to look really cool when you bake it. So I'm going to show you guys one more time. Again, you're leaving the spot. You're going to cut 2 times, like that. You're going to get your strips up. Let me see if I can do this right this time. Oops. See, it's all coming apart. So I see a lot of people joining. So for anyone new, we're making vegan chocolate danishes. Inspired by a blog called Hot for Food. She does all vegan stuff, super easy recipes, nothing fancy or too fancy. Alright, so we've got our braid, and again, just start kind of, you can squish stuff back together if you want. You're going to kind of curl it up and over. It's always good to tuck the end under. You can pull it if you want to make it look different. And there we've got another one. Okay, so that's super easy. So I've got it on a piece of parchment paper, and it goes in the oven. So this is where you want to really pay attention to what dough you buy if you follow her recipe, because you want to cook according to the package, not according to whatever she put on her recipe, depending on what pastry you buy. So this stuff goes at 355 Celsius, not Fahrenheit. Oops, I thought I lost you there. So this dough is pretty forgiving, but if you have a drier dough or if you want just a really nice crispy outside, you can take some of your cashew milk and brush the outside, but I don't do that, and it turns out fantastic. So we'll put these in a bit later, but I will show you guys that I already baked some. So this is what they turn out like. They have a nice crispy bottom. So you can see that they turn out looking really quite fancy, even though they look kind of messy when you start. So for these guys, we're going to now put some topping on it. So I have some here. So in her recipe, Lauren Toyota makes a caramel sauce out of coconut sugar and vegan butter and cashew milk. So you would just put that all in a pot and you would cook it maybe 4 to 6 minutes on medium, and then it'll create a caramel sauce. And you put a little bit of sea salt in it. If you have that pink sea salt, that's really nice, and it just gives it a really cool flavor. So I have some of that I made earlier as well, and we're going to give it a little blitz in the microwave because it got a little hard. But another idea that you can do is melted chocolate. So if you have any of those chocolate chips you have left, if you put them again in the microwave with a little bit of butter, you can melt them down. So we're going to put that over this one. So there we go. And we now have our caramel sauce going here. It smells so good, and when she made it with the coconut sugar, it got a really nice dark brown. It almost looked like chocolate. So we're going to drizzle that over this guy here. Amazing. Problem with baking them beforehand is now I have too many and I'm going to eat them all. So one that's really good with the caramel is some nuts. If you have pecans, you can toast them in a pan and put them on. Pecans would be so good, but I had just walnuts. And then the walnut and caramel one is the one you want to put the sea salt on. So I actually have pink Andean sea salt. It's not pink Himalayan sea salt. So you want to put just a little bit on that. And then the chocolate one, I thought it would be nice to put on some strawberries. Obviously, put these on when you're eating them fresh. And then you can stick those on there. Actually, I might just eat one. And that's it. And these, if they can last in your fridge for that long, they can last for a couple of days. But it is a super, super easy way to get like a super fancy looking dessert or breakfast, and they're just really fantastic. The other recipe that Lauren Toyota has is she does a vanilla custard, and then she does cherries on top, and that would be delicious as well. You could also take the pastry dough and put some jam inside, and then bake that up and put some chocolate drizzle on top. You can do any amount of nuts that you want, whatever fruit, chocolate, but it's just an awesome way to get something nice and fancy and sweet. So that's it, everybody. That was a real quick one too. So I hope that you try this recipe and try checking out Lauren Toyota's blog, Hot for Food. And one last reminder for myself, please check out my YouTube channel as well. Share it with others if you like. It really helps for me to get subscribers and video likes and stuff like that. And my aunt is asking that we make these at the next family gathering, and I totally will. I hope that we all get family gatherings really, really soon. We've all been going through tough times in our own way, so I really appreciate you guys logging in and spending time with me and watching my videos and my clumsiness. So it's really awesome. So thanks very much, guys. I'm going to try not to eat all of these for dinner. Bye, everybody. Thank you. Bye.